Sunday the 2nd of September and this is Cock on Ball. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Welcome to the show. We've just watched the Watford game, which was a bit depressing.
Yeah, I'm a bit down.
Yeah.
It's always difficult to do a show after a loss, isn't it? Because you just kind of...
It is. And we were supposed to do one after the Man U game, which would have been very positive.
That would have been good. Yeah, we should have done that.
And we probably should have done
I think a lot more people would probably have watched that one. Rather than don't think this one's going to get a lot of excitement.
No, not really. Should we talk about the Man U game to begin with? Or are we still processing
I
the
feel
Watford
like
game?
I feel like I have to get this Watford game out of my system and then I can try and put it to one side and talk about better times, but right now I'm a bit,
So, just watching the commentary on the game before, they were saying that Pochettino spent most of the time criticising the performance of Manchester United. If he hadn't criticised and been more positive about how fantastic the performance was, we would have won this game.
Yeah.
That's cobblers, isn't it?
Yeah. He was kind of desperate for something to say, I think.
It was a really odd game. It felt really flat.
Because if he'd have been like massively praising of it, you could have said that you can always spin whatever you want to according to whatever the circumstances are. But I mean, I think credit to Watford, to be completely honest with you. I think, I thought they were really excellent, particularly in the second half. I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
I thought, defensively they really stuck to their guns. You can see what they're a strong team. They've got 2 goals from set pieces. I mean, it's interesting because when we came and sat down to watch the game together, I was talking about the Man U game and saying, the thing about the game is we won 3-0 at Old Trafford and that's fantastic, but actually I don't think we played that well. Yeah. I think, especially in the first half, I think we were pretty poor. I think second half, once we had kind of nullified them a bit, once we scored that first goal, that was it. And it was a fantastic goal, and before the game, Pochettino was saying, beware the overhype. Beware the fact that people have been singing our praises and all the plaudits, and then and so it came to pass that we kind of almost believed the hype a bit. In this game, I don't think we had enough penetration. I don't think we had enough shots.
No.
The passing was a bit off.
But I mean, we did. We put on a lot of pressure and we got the goal.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to win any awards.
Probably not goal of the season.
No, probably not. Nah.
We've had a few of these scruffy goals this season. The Vertonghen goal in the first game.
Yes.
It took us about 20 seconds to realise it had gone in.
Yeah, we were a bit confused about that. But anyway, we got that goal by hook or crook. And that once you've got it, you think, right, cool, fine, difficult game, but we've got our goal, so now we can kind of dig in, maybe make some substitutions, and just kind of protect it and pass it around and sit on it. And we should have been comfortable at that point because we've been comfortable up till then, and I felt like he didn't make the right substitutions. He kept Dembele on, which I think was a mistake, and I know that's easily said in retrospect, but at the time I was saying
I was there. I bear witness to the fact that you were saying Dembele was just, I mean, we can go back to the team selection actually, but Dyer not in the team, which is quite a rare occurrence for Pochettino. Dyer's normally there. We talked about it in a previous show. He's like almost a symbol of the Pochettino era. Went to 3 at the back, which hasn't worked as well for us this season. No,
but I mean, there was a lot of excitement of us going to 3 at the back. I was looking at Twitter before the game, and I was like, 3 at the back.
That's what we were.
Toby, Vertonghen and Sanchez. That's the best back 3 in Europe. Everyone was getting sort of super excited about it.
But he almost used it as an opportunity. You were saying that we didn't really have a defensive midfield player.
No, well, we didn't play defensive midfielder. Dembele is not a defensive midfielder. He plays that kind of midfield anchor role, I suppose. But I mean, look, fine. It kind of worked to the extent that we were bossing most of the game, if not scoring goals. We got the goal, somewhat luckily, and then at that point, change it. Get Wanyama on, or do something to kind of firm it up a bit, or Dyer. But it was.
I think given the options we had kind of further forward with the front 4 now that pretty much plays every game this season, with Ali Eriksson, Kane and Lucas, it felt that you could have had someone just sitting there that wasn't there. I mean,
particularly with 2 defensive midfielders sitting on the bench. Yeah, that's kind of mad to not bring one on in that situation, I think.
And last week when we were talking about the Fulham game, we were talking about how actually positive he was with the substitutions, how it changed the game, and actually bringing Dembele on changed the game. I wonder about Dembele from the start.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have been sort of saying, what's Dembele's role in this team now? Like, he's been playing this kind of substitution, coming on and experienced and cultured, and it seems to be working quite well.
Yeah, so there's an argument that he could start on the bench and have that role. I mean, we talked about before about his age. His passing was really off, and he's got a bit of a walking yellow card. I
always feel with Dembele, like you kind of that first moment, because the thing with Dembele is you always think he's going to lose it.
Yeah.
But when he's on his game, you think he's going to lose it, but that's actually what he's trying to do.
And then you say, "Oh, genius!"
Genius, exactly. Like his best trick is making the opposition think they're about to get the ball off him, and then he does something clever and spins around and he's off. So that there's like this barometer, basically. Like the first time that happens in the game, if he gets away and he's off, it's going to be a classic Dembele performance.
It's exactly. Dembele away at Juventus.
Exactly. If he gets caught and loses it, quite often that's the sort of sign of a whiffy Dembele performance. And that's definitely what we got today.
And I think it's I remember in the FA Cup semi-final last season where he lost the ball, trying to be too clever. I don't think this is Dembele's. I'm not trying to.
No.
I need to kind of see it again, and we immediately turned off. So I haven't really watched it.
And to be fair, we've talked about this on a previous show, but like if we don't play Dembele, then who do we play? We lack that creative midfielder. Winks is back, but I mean it's a big ask.
Actually, I think Winks looked really bright when he came on.
Yeah, and I have hope that he will be that Dembele replacement in years to come. But I think it would have been a bit of a bold statement to kind of put him in that side.
I was surprised not to. I mean, with that three at the back, possibly that's why he didn't play Dyer, because Dyer can play that role. But he, from a corner, for example, or a free kick, which is what they were most dangerous at, he's a better header of the ball than Dembele.
Yeah.
But there was something about there was something lackadaisical about it. I think Ali played kind of okay, quite well in the first half. It was nice to see that kind of long ball from Alderweireld to him.
It was a shame he didn't score that header. That would have been.
It was a nice kind of. But again, we just didn't really feel that. Our radar wasn't quite there. Lucas had fits and starts, and really high hopes for him after his performance at Old Trafford, where he was nothing short of sensational.
I think he still had a good game.
Yeah,
I think he's
very bright. He's very quick.
Yeah, he's direct. He obviously terrifies defenders now that they know about him and they don't know what to do about him. I think it was more of the same from him. I mean, obviously he didn't get his goals today, but I thought it was actually a similar performance to the one he put in against Man United. I mean, I think again, Kane is just not turning up right now, and it's a huge problem for us. We've kind of been getting away with it, and he's been scoring the odd goal despite not being on best form. But if he doesn't score those kind of the odd goal, then he's an absolute passenger. And today, he was invisible, to be quite honest with you.
Well, we had that chance 5 minutes from the end. Yeah. He really should have buried the header. I mean, we were talking about how good that header against Man United was as we were watching the game, because it was, the neck muscles getting away from the defender. It was almost like that goal, the header back against Arsenal, when the 2-1, when he first kind of burst onto the scene, really perfectly placed, keeper rooted to the spot. Just thinking back to, that Man U game and Lloris being in goal, for example, a lot of chat about him. I think we actually missed his organisation stuff today.
I agree. I completely agree. I mean, you're always whenever Lloris isn't playing, every time we concede, you're going to say, we missed him. We missed Lloris. But I think I agree.
I don't think it's more. I don't think it's the same. It's almost like the organisational side.
Yeah, well, he's our captain. He's our captain. You're always going to miss your captain, right?
Yeah. And he made some. He made some good saves against Man United. We could talk about him maybe in a bit in terms of the stuff that he's been going through and the difficult period. And there was a lot of chat about whether he would actually play at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
But I think we missed. And Vorm, to be honest, I don't think he had another save to make. He picked the ball out of the net twice. Need to look back at the stats, but there was just something about the. I mean, Watford came back, and I think you're absolutely right. Full credit to them to come back into the game. I think conceding 2 goals from set pieces is really disappointing. And
they're very good at set pieces. That's their specialism, and they've got some big old players in there.
They have. So there was something a bit missing today.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to happen. Watford are a good team. They're up there in the sort of
12 points out of 12.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so
should have been us.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's always a shame when you sort of get a really massive win like we did at Old Trafford, and you always kind of feel that that's bonus points when you get those kind of games. But then to immediately kind of lose those bonus points, which is one way of looking at what happened today, it's kind of frustrating. Like, so we're back where we started a week ago. But
so will be the inevitable Spursy kind of backlash.
Yeah.
Typical Spurs. We'll see what happens over social media in the next few hours. We'll see what happens. Kind of back page of the papers tomorrow where they're going with it. International break as well. Going into the international break.
Know.
It's a bit of a downer.
So always that I feel you're probably about to tell me that statistically this isn't true, but I feel like we often lose just before the international break.
Not recently. No, I think we've done all right. We generally do okay, but
I remember last year doing well before it. But it's kind of like.
But then our next game is against Liverpool.
Yeah.
At Wembley, big game. That's going to be a tough old match. Let's hope that. I think Pochettino is very. What I've liked about Pochettino, we haven't really talked about it because we haven't done a show.
You give us this. We must have talked about it by now. We've talked about it at least twice now, possibly.
But Pochettino has been very, very good at getting us back from a defeat.
Yeah.
Like our responses to defeats have always been really quite good. You never have that kind of.
No, it's true.
The rut thing. So, and Liverpool last season was one of the greatest games I've been to. Yeah. It was magnificent performance from start to finish. Lovren being taken off after half an hour. Here's hoping we can do the same thing.
And they are, they feel like they owe us one. Like, they were very frustrated about the return fixture last year.
Again, a great game.
Great game. But I think they're still, creating petitions and whatnot over some of the incidents in that game. Like, they were very, very aggrieved, as is their nature on occasion. So that's going to be a huge game. Should have been the first game in the new stadium, of course, not now. But nevertheless, it will be quite a fixture, and quite excited about it.
Very exciting. I was looking at that game again. I mean, that thunderbolt from Wanyama was a moment of the season. But then, we really should have won the game. And then Salah, and then those last few minutes. But what a game that was. But if we got 4 points of them last season, that would be fantastic. We'd get the same this season.
Yeah, and I mean Liverpool, I think, have had a very easy start to the season. I mean, every game's difficult, you never know. But they've made a bit of a meal out of what should have been some relatively routine fixtures.
Still won all their games though.
Yeah, they have. But I mean, they have hardly been playing with the same sort of, joie de vivre as they have in last season. And they look like, I think, being positive and hopeful about it, possibly a little bit too hopeful, but I reckon a stern test such as playing us could throw up some surprises for them. I don't think they are quite the same team they were last year. I don't think Salah looks the same. He's been going through a bit of a rough time, sort of, with the press and everything, and I feel like he's not quite enjoying his football in the same way. I think that defence is flattering to deceive a little bit. I think Alisson, we saw
yesterday
him make a big gaffe yesterday.
Still won the game though. I mean,
yeah, for sure, they're on a great run, but they've had relatively straightforward games, and I reckon we can do it. But I will always say that because I'm a Spurs fan.
And in some ways, after such a disappointing defeat today, to be fair, against a Watford team who are no pushovers, who've that the new manager's come in and he's actually really put his stamp on them. They look strong defensively. They know what they're doing. They don't look like the pushovers that have been a few years. We won 4-1, we won 4-0. Good luck to them. Well done.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think Guy will be very happy.
I think Guy will be very happy. Shout out, Guy.
Nice, easy Champions League draw.
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, there's no easy Champions League draws, right? But
you've seen the group with Lokomotiv Moscow,
right?
So. That is. I mean, to be fair, the first year we were back in the Champions League, we had the easiest Champions League group, and we were absolutely terrible.
Exactly. And then last year we had the group of death, or one of the groups of death,
and we won.
And
we actually
pretty comfortably.
We had the best record of anyone in the group stage last season.
And we beat the eventual winners.
Yeah, and we did not lose against the eventual winners.
Correct.
Pretty amazing. So who have we got? Barcelona?
Yeah, and I'm over the moon about that.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I want to see that Barcelona team in the I want to see Messi before he retires.
Absolutely.
I want to see him. It's not going to be at the Lane, which is a shame. It would have been incredible if that had been at the new stadium.
I know. We were texting about it at the time. Like, it would just be magnificent in the new stadium.
It would have been amazing.
Barcelona.
But Wembley, still pretty good.
It's not too shabby.
No, it'll be all right. And I just want to see that game. I want to see Spurs Barcelona. I've wanted to see it for years.
Yeah.
and I'm absolutely over the moon about it. It's great.
So we haven't played them since I think we played them in Europe in like the early 80s.
Right.
In a real game.
Did we do a show after that? I don't think we did.
No. No.
Yeah.
I was about 2.
Yeah. That would have been good.
It would have been a good. It would have been a good show. So Barcelona. I mean, fantastic for us to go to the Camp Nou to play against. Basically with Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, top 3 sides in the world.
Yeah.
I would say.
Maybe PSG, but yeah.
Yeah, PSG. I mean, Liverpool have a tough group with PSG and Napoli as well.
I think that's a very tough game. I think Napoli are
they're a strong team.
They're a really good team, and they'll give Liverpool a hard time. I think PSG. I suspect Liverpool will absolutely spank them. That's going to be embarrassing, I reckon. But
this is not the COP podcast, by the way.
We do. There's this thing on the social media a lot. They talk about how Spurs fans are obsessed with Liverpool and Liverpool fans are obsessed with Spurs, and it's
probably true.
It's become a bit of a thing recently.
Yeah.
Like
it's because we both never win anything.
Certainly on the forums, I feel like Liverpool are probably the team that's actually most discussed now, more than Arsenal. I feel like there's a lot of discussion about Liverpool.
Manchester United as well.
Shout out Coys, by the way, great forum. Shout out to Prof, who very kindly lets us talk about our show on the forum, and also Spurs community. Shout out Spurs community, also do the same.
Good shout outs.
Good shout outs.
Who else is in the group?
Inter Milan.
Inter Milan, who are in the bottom group because I haven't been in the Champions League for 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, great memories of Inter Milan in the Champions League.
And some not so great ones, but yeah.
Even losing.
Even the not so great one was a great game in the end.
I mean, going 4-0 down in the San Siro and almost snatching a draw.
I know.
I mean,
do you know what? So often people talk to me about that game and they think we won it. It's become a bit like Rocky, where everyone thinks that he wins at the end, but he doesn't. Like, spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen Rocky.
That did come out in the early 80s as well.
Yeah, I think it's okay to spoil a Rocky at this point, but 70s actually, Rocky.
Yes, late 70s, 79 maybe, 77?
Yeah, it won the best film Oscar, I think, instead of something like really good.
It won
like
best screenplay for
Raging Bull or
Sylvester
Godfather.
Stallone.
Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah.
But it's a really bad script, which is really interesting.
Anyway, we should do a film podcast.
We should, yeah, that would be good.
But
real searing insight there.
Just to backtrack about what we were actually talking about there, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Bale. What a game! That was the moment that Gareth Bale just like arrived. That was the moment that the world learned his name.
And it's really fascinating to see him come out of Ronaldo's shadow. Now that Ronaldo's not there and not scoring in Juventus anymore. Bale scored for his 7th league game in a row last night. He's leading the team. But yeah, that night, I mean, 4-0 down in the San Siro at half time. Player sent off.
Yeah.
And then Bale absolutely ripped them to shreds. And then that set it up for the home game with the whole taxi for Maicon.
Yeah, well, he'd already kind of utterly destroyed Maicon.
Yeah.
I think several times in the San Siro, but then in the return leg, obviously. I mean, literally ruined his career. That was like the end of Maicon.
It was almost a shame. I felt sorry for him.
No, it is a bit of a shame. Maicon was an amazing player, and that pretty much just finished him. He went to City, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Again,
just didn't really play there. It was a strange thing.
But great memories of Inter Milan. Great, we get to go to the San Siro, get to the Camp Nou, and also PSV Eindhoven, good team.
Yeah, great team.
They got through the playoffs, but they're in pot 3 because of their general record. They won the Dutch league last year.
Yeah.
So it's a tough group, but
it's a tough group.
I'd much rather play in these big European games. I think we've progressed every year under Pochettino. It wasn't like the Harry thing. There's a bit of a flash in the pan year. We did really well. We got to the quarters, and then we got absolutely thumped by Real Madrid. First year back with Pochettino, it was a really damp squib. Awful performances. Wembley was a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
Last year, I want to play against Real Madrid. I want to play against Barcelona, and those Juventus games, while they're still I still remember how I felt. I remember the feeling of going those big European nights.
Yeah, and I think we've learned. I think, like you say, the great thing about it is that it feels like we learn from each of those experiences. Yeah. And the Juventus thing, I think we'll have learned a lot from that as well.
Let's hope so.
And I agree with you. What's the point of being in the Champions League if you're not going to get to see us play? When I sort of, back in the days of our mid-table mediocrity, when I was staring up at, Arsenal and the like playing in the Champions League, I was envious of them because they were playing against Real Madrid and Barcelona and Bayern Munich and these teams. That's what I wanted to see. So I would rather, Liverpool's had a bit of a funny Champions League last season because obviously, the City semi was amazing, and Real in the final, but they had a sort of bit of a strange run up to that point. And I think I'd rather be playing those big teams and sort of having those glory nights of beating Real Madrid.
City was the quarter, wasn't it? And then they got Roma.
Oh, that's right, Roma, where they put 7 goals past Alisson.
Yeah, and then they bought him.
And then paid a record fee for him.
Yeah. They almost lost that match, by the way.
Yeah.
Despite they were 5-0 up at Anfield. Sorry, this is again not to talk about Liverpool, but let's wind it back to Spurs. So that's all happening. We've got the Carabao Cup draw as well, where we're playing today's opponents.
Right, so a bit of controversy there.
Loads of controversy, and I can see why.
I
think application for a neutral venue is weird.
Well, they did a vote, didn't they? I think they did a vote.
But they are supporters.
I think they did a vote through the Supporters Trust, and they said, would you rather reverse the fixtures or do it at a neutral venue? And I think they just a slim margin voted for a neutral venue.
I didn't know that.
I think that's what happened. But there's been some controversy around it because it's at Milton Keynes
on a weeknight.
Yeah, but also the Supporters Trust, and I think the Supporters Trust do amazing work. I think they're a very, very important body. But they came out with a tweet this week that implied, they said something like, I can't remember it word for word, I should really have written it down word for word, so apologies if I'm misrepresenting, but they said something in the tweet along the lines of, we suggest fans find out, read up on the history of what happened with Milton Keynes and make a judgment whether they kind of want to endorse that or something like that. The implication being that and they said we're not going to go to that game. So I think there was a slight implication there that they're saying, some people have read that as boycott the game, which is obviously quite controversial.
Well, that would be. I mean, it's all counterproductive. I'd rather just say reverse the fixture. We haven't got home. Yeah, it's the Carabao Cup. Let's go and play at Watford. Let's beat them this time. I understand nothing about the number of fans and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they said they were quite oblique in their comms. We talk about Spurs' comms again, but they were saying, in terms of we went through other venues in London and neutral venues in terms of accessibility and availability and all these kind of things, and this was the best option in Milton Keynes, and I'm very surprised by that. It's a long way to go. I think it would have been a low. If Wembley had been available, it would have been a low turnout at Wembley anyway.
Would you have wanted to go to London Stadium?
At least it's in London.
Yeah.
I've been to see gigs at London Stadium, and it's kind of annoying that you've got Bobby Moore kind of over there, but then you have the Rolling Stones over there.
I kind of would have liked to have done it just to annoy the West Ham fans. I think that would have just annoyed them so much for us to use their stadium as a home
They need a bit of cheering up at the moment as well.
They really do.
Yeah, breaks my heart.
They're giving us quite a lot of cheering up, but having just lost it feels a bit petty. But
I know, but small things keep me happy.
There's been some amazing retweets of things
that Sullivan and Gold have said,
and also just there's this amazing thread I saw on Twitter today. Some guy, shout out if you are that person, has got various clips of West Ham fan TV, but also Pellegrini and people like that saying stuff from before the season started, and then they've mixed it with the Curb Your Enthusiasm music and put the Curb, so it's the end of Curb Your Enthusiasm where someone says something really stupid and then it goes boom 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 boo doo doo doo. Watch that link, it's funny.
Yeah, well, yeah. I haven't seen that, obviously. We don't talk about this before we sit down. Gas is quite obvious.
That might be one for the outtakes.
No outtakes. This is the whole thing. It's all live. We have no script.
Yeah.
Another bit of controversy was around Luis. And we touched on it just a bit earlier in terms of him playing at Old Trafford. It was a big surprise to hear that he had been charged with drink driving on the Friday, I think it was, for the Man U game. He is a very, there's lots of chat about, he would be the last person you would think this ever happened to. Lots of photos emerged on social media of him going out with his France mates on the night.
There's a couple of things that are probably worth saying. Just he's been charged. He hasn't been convicted of.
He has been charged, but at the same time, his apology statement.
Yes, he's come back. I'm just saying, we should probably be a little bit careful from a kind of legal point of view what we say. But
I think his apology statement where he says, I apologise to all the fans and that kind of behaviour is unacceptable and drink driving is unacceptable.
I agree.
Suggests
I agree.
that he may be accepting the charge.
Yes, it seems likely.
And,
But also we don't know
the circumstances.
The circumstances, we don't know if he'd had a glass of wine and was a little bit over, or whether he'd been doing shots of Sambuca. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole range.
I think knowing kind of who he is, I can't imagine this is a kind of, out on the lash.
It wasn't late. It was pretty late at night. It was 2:30 in the morning.
Now we're getting into the more legal territory, which you were warning me about. But I think we should skate over that and think about the club's reaction to it, his reaction.
Yeah.
Do we think the club have kind of backed him? Do we think they've been stringent enough? Were you surprised by the response?
I think the club have very clearly backed him. I mean, I think Pochettino's embrace after the Manchester United game, he played him in the Manchester United game.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest moment. Didn't take away the captaincy.
And then at the end, absolutely just gave him the biggest of bear hugs. So I think publicly that counts as a backing. I have to say, I think there were some people saying he should be dropped. I think that would be insane. Not insane. I understand their point of view, but I think it would be. I don't think it's fair to the fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Why should we suffer for his stupidity? I think the captaincy is in question now. I think, given particularly what's going on with the club at the moment, so much bad press about the stadium stuff. Yeah. We're in a bit of a backs against the wall. We should have a bit of a siege mentality right now. For our club captain to get caught drunk driving is very, very bad indeed. Allegedly, sorry. That's very, very bad, and I find it hard to sort of endorse him as our captain right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'm surprised. By the way, him being injured and not playing today is all a bit strange, I think. I mean, they are talking that he's not going to play for France in the
I think he is
weird
injured.
Kind of Nations League that I really don't understand.
I think he is injured.
Okay.
Because otherwise, why?
It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, it doesn't make sense. You've already made your statement. So yeah.
I mean, I think his immediate kind of apology, has helped him in that. But I can't believe that Pochettino is someone who's so kind of keen for all the. There's something about. You have to be the right kind of player to play for him, but also you have to be the right person, the right attitude, the mentality, the professionalism. If you read the book, it's all about that. I'm a bit surprised by it. I think he's made a calculated decision that he can't, do a knee-jerk reaction to it. But it was interesting how in the match the post-match press conference after the Man U game, he was talking a lot about responsibility and how everyone, it's actually raised an important issue. And actually, that's quite a good way, I think, to think about it. That he will probably know more about the circumstances that you mentioned, whether it's like whatever vodka luges.
Exactly. You just don't know, do you? The other thing is with Hugo, he just comes across as just such a sensible bloke. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't know him. Like, we don't know what he's like. Like, really,
don't know him.
He might be, the life and soul of the rave.
Possibly. So there we go.
There we go. So Spurs go marching on, I guess.
Spurs go marching on. We've got the break now. We've got that Liverpool game, and it actually is a very busy September and October period. Lots of matches to come. So we will, hopefully bounce back.
I think
the Watford game today.
Absolutely. We've got some big games coming up. Liverpool game coming up. City game coming up. It's going to be a big couple of months for us.
Well,
I'm still super excited about this season. I think we're seeing the benefits of not losing any players. I think it's given us real consistency and
didn't see the benefits today.
No, fair point.
I didn't see any benefits today. But then that's all. That is basically what happens with the narrative now. Is that you've got. If we win, it's a vindication.
Of course.
That no one came in and no one came out. If we lose, it's like, we should have strengthened the squad.
I mean, I don't think today really had anything to do with that. I think today it was slightly wrong. I think the tactics were just a bit wrong. I think we were doing fine. We got in the lead, and then I think wrong decisions were made.
I know we kind of finished with the Watford game, but my final thing I'd say is that I think we missed both Son and Lamela as options today on the bench.
I agree.
With Son. Never in doubt. He was never going to go to military service.
Did you watch the game?
I didn't watch the game.
I did actually watch it. It was on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of the most painful games of football I think I've ever seen. Like,
He's got to win. He's got to
I know, it was like, but it was like life and death. It was like kind of like I've never seen a football game with that much resting on it. It was crazy.
It's a great way to motivate the players.
It's amazing.
I think that Pochettino should bring
it was like a Running Man or something. Like it was like seriously, it was this really strange game because of it. And like as it went on, and you could see how tired Korea were. Like they were absolutely knackered, but somehow they just kind of kept going.
But he laid on both goals, didn't he?
Yeah, he set on both goals. He was brilliant. He was like
he's a great player, and you know, we were actually talking during the game that we think he'll be at Spurs for a really long time now because of the level of support we've shown him. That when he came out and he said, you know, thanks so much for letting me go, because he wasn't allowed to play when
at Leverkusen.
And they exercised their right for him not to go, and I think it is. Yeah, I think it's really good of us to do it, and I don't think apart from today's game, I don't think we've suffered that much from it. But with Lamela and Son and Lucas, with those other three, you can flip it around. Lamela coming on could give real pace and penetration, and I think we're missing a bit of that. And Llorente, I just think he's a very poor player, and just not really the kind of standard of the rest of the team. So I think we missed that. Once they're back and there are other options for us to play with. You have those 6 players on rotation. I think it can really work.
I agree. And I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame about Llorente, but it just hasn't worked out. He's here for another year now, or another 6 months at least. So
yeah, he must go in January, surely.
We couldn't get rid of him in the summer, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know what
And Vinny's stuck around as well.
Yeah, but he's injured. He's injured his foot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never really taken off for him either.
And we sent quite a lot of people. Onoma's gone on loan again, which I was a bit surprised about.
Yeah, he's gone. Where's he gone?
Sheffield Wednesday. Which I was surprised about that. I kind of thought again with us not buying any players,
be nice to have him as an option.
It might have been his chance to sort of try and get in the team. But it looks like Amos, in fact, is now a preference over Amo, which is interesting.
So yeah, Amos, who took the place of Lamela on the bench at Old Trafford after he got injured in the warm-up. So I really hope Lamela can take these few weeks and get back.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Against Liverpool, he could be a real asset.
I mean, last time we were just talking about like finally we're going to get this kind of Lamela back. Already he's sort of injured again, so it's a bit of a shame. But
But that's the end of another show.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching.
Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are around the forums at Cock and Ball on Twitter.
Yep.
There is a podcast version of it. The sound quality wasn't great last time. Sorry about that. I'll try and do it better this time. But you can download the podcast.
Department.
Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties. And Apple's still messing me about with the feed. I know. Apple, what are you doing?
They're not watching this.
I know. But yeah, YouTube's where it's at now, really. So yeah.
Cool.
And until next time, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.